Building an empire is only half the battle. The real danger arrives when the founder dies, when a legacy threatens to shatter into competing factions. By the end of his life, Abraham is a man of significant consequence. He has accumulated immense wealth, established a vast household, and carries a unique divine covenant, a promise that his lineage will become a great nation. Abraham has multiple sons through several different women, creating an immediate logistical problem. Alongside Isaac, the child of his wife Sarah, there are half a dozen other descendants. This creates a high risk of dilution. Without a clear, singular line of succession, the historical destiny meant for one chosen nation could easily fragment into a dozen different tribes. This diagram shows the scale of the issue. If all these lineage streams try to pass through at once, they create a bottleneck. To survive, the narrative needs a filter. Genesis 25 acts as a ruthless historical funnel. It is a mechanism of elimination, systematically stripping away the periphery until only a single true heir remains. The filtering starts with Abraham himself. Before his death, he shifts from a passive patriarch into an active manager of his own succession, taking deliberate steps to clear the board. He takes another wife, Keturah, and fathers 6 more sons. To prevent them from rivaling Isaac, Abraham gives them gifts and physically dismisses them from his household. Looking at the geography on this map, Abraham isolates Isaac at the center in Canaan and pushes these other groups eastward, out of the frame of the primary story. With the physical perimeter cleared, Abraham executes a total transfer of power. The text specifies that he leaves all that he has exclusively to Isaac, finalizing the inheritance. His affairs in order, Abraham dies at the age of 175. In a brief moment of unity, his 2 oldest sons, Isaac and Ishmael, come together to bury him in the Cave of Machpelah. The text then turns its attention to Ishmael. It records his success, listing his 12 sons who become princes of their own tribes with a distinct geographical footprint. This detailed genealogy serves a specific purpose. The biblical editor catalogs Ishmael's lineage so it can be definitively closed and removed from the central focus. The external perimeter is now secure. The narrative funnel has stripped away the half-brothers and peripheral nations, leaving Isaac standing alone at the center of the story. But the funnel doesn't stop operating once the borders are secure. The focus shifts inward to Isaac and his wife Rebekah, who face a new complication, a physically turbulent pregnancy. Rebekah feels a struggle inside her. 2 distinct forces are warring against each other within the confined space of her womb. Distressed, she seeks a divine explanation. The prophecy she receives reveals that this struggle represents 2 future diverging nations, and that the older will serve the younger. The birth makes the conflict visible. Esau emerges first, red and covered in hair. Jacob is born immediately after, his hand physically gripping Esau's heel. As they grow, their differences hardened. Esau becomes a hunter, an impulsive man of the open field. Jacob develops into a calculated man who dwells in the tents. The final filtering test arrives when Esau returns from the field completely exhausted and desperate for food. Jacob is cooking a red lentil stew. He leverages his brother's moment of physical vulnerability, refusing to provide food unless Esau signs away his permanent spiritual birthright. This exposes Esau's flaw. Confronted with a choice, he trades his long-term historical destiny for the immediate satisfaction of a warm meal. Through a transaction over a bowl of soup, the divine funnel finalizes its work. The ultimate selection relied on human calculation as much as it did on prophecy. Within this single chapter, the narrative has narrowed. The story of a universal founder with many children has now been replaced by the specific life of one successor. Here is the completed succession diagram. We filter Abraham's sons down to Isaac and finally narrow to Jacob. This highlights a tension between the lofty promise and the manipulative actions required to secure it. Genesis 25 closes Abraham's era, launching the nation of Israel. The mechanism of separation worked, and the lineage is secured, but it was bought at the cost of deep familial betrayal. The funnel has narrowed to one man, and the consequences of his arrival will drive the drama for the rest of Genesis.